all, and welcome back to part 4 of lesson 6. This is the last part, and we're going to be talking about date time. Everything we do in oceanography has a time scale, and those time scales give us a frame of reference for how fast things are changing, and it gives us a better idea of what's happening in the world. So it's really important that we get those things right. It's also really important that we get them right because it makes our science more reproducible, and it makes it more shareable with other people in the world. However, that's really hard to do. So based on what this map shows here, this is all of the time zones in the world. And you can see they try to sort of block it out in these longitude bands, but the borders sort of create this mess. We have certain spots where it's, half an hour off, and daylight savings completely messes all of this up. So we're left with the problem that it's really important we get time right, and it's really hard to do it right. Fortunately for us, we don't have to do it alone. We have a module in Python. And that module is the datetime module. So here is our import statement: from datetime, import datetime. It's a little bit different from the NumPy module, so I'm going to walk through it. This is our actual module here, datetime, so from datetime. And what we're going to be doing is we're importing the class datetime from that module, which is where all the functions are stored. The first thing we can do is get the current date and time. And we do that saying datetime.now. So we say import our module here, and we say tnow is equal to datetime.now, print it out, and that's what we get. This is a couple days ago when I ran it. Great, we have our time now, and it has years, months, days, hours, minutes, seconds, and microseconds. And each of those can actually be pulled out from this datetime object, and we can get each of those as individual integers. So we do that by saying tnow, which remember is that datetime now that I created. And I say tnow.year, and that's 2020. Tnow.month is 10. Tnow.day is 19, and so on and so forth for hours, minutes, seconds, and microseconds. So great, we can get the time that it is now, and we can get all of those different objects. What about other times? Well, Python can do that too. In order to create other times, we just say datetime, and we give it a year, a month, a day, and then optionally, we can give it hours, minutes, seconds, and even microseconds. So here's an example. T, just some other T, is date time, and I gave the year 2020, 3, so March, 8, and then 8 o'clock, and then I didn't give it any minutes, seconds, or microseconds. So when that prints out, we see 2020, March 8th, and then 8 o'clock. So having a format like this makes it really easy to share these kinds of things, but that's just in Python. So a lot of times when you're going to get data, it's not going to be in this pretty date time thing, or it may not have years, months, days. It might be in a string. So we're going to talk about how to change datetime objects to and from strings. Let's start with our datetime now that we created on the last slide there, and let's change it into a string. So in order to do that, we do datetime.strftime, or string from time. And just following this example here, we have date string is equal to datetime string from time tnow. So remember, that's the time that I created up here. And then we give it the format that we want the string to be in when it prints out. So here I say the year and a slash, the month and a slash, the day, and then a space, and then the hour and a period, the minutes and a period, and the seconds. You can actually put any sort of division things in there. So I put slashes and periods there. You can put colons, you can put dashes, whatever you want. So when we print it out, we see this string here, and then when we test the type, you can see that it is in fact a string. So great, we've created a string, and now we can share our date time with other people. What happens when people share our date time with us and it's a string? Well, we can change that into a date time in order to do like time differences and that kind of thing. So we have datetime.strp_time, or string parse time. And just following this example, we say datetime.strp_time of date string. So we're pretending that we got this string here as our date string. And we give it the format that string is in order to help Python read in what the things are. And we get our t now back from it, and we can see that it's back to being a datetime. There are a lot of options for these formats, and that's on this slide here. I'm not going to step through each of these, but feel free to look at them. There are a lot of different options, and you can customize exactly what you want from these datetime formatting options here. So all of these datetime objects that we've created are really just snapshots of a specific time, right? It's datetime.now. It's that time, and it's not going to change. It's that. But we know that time does pass, so we have to take that into consideration, which means that we have to use this other object called a time delta object. So here in this example, we have datetime, and we put in some random date. Then we have another one, we put in another date. When we take the difference between the two, we get something that says 227 days and a bunch of zeros. And what the class is when we do type is a datetime.timeDelta. And that's basically just saying what the difference is between those two times. So in order to retrieve individual values from the time delta object, we can do it similarly to what we did with the datetime object. And we say timediff.days, and that gives us the number of days that was there. And we say timediff.seconds, and this gives us the number of seconds that's there, which just happens to be 0. Now, if you wanted to get every single second that had passed in those 227 days, you can do that. And you can say timediff.total seconds, and then parentheses. So note that that is a function. And we print that out, and we get the total number of seconds that happened in those 227 days. Finally, a time delta object can alter a datetime object. So what this means is that we can create a time delta object, and we do that. Notice that we have to import time delta as a class now. So we have from datetime import datetime, and then we have from datetime import time delta. So we create a time here. Time 1 equals datetime 1991, July 8th. And then we say time 1 in the future is equal to time 1 plus time delta, days equals 365. So we're saying that 365 days later is our time in the future. And we print both of those out, and we can see that 1991, July 8th, and then 1992, July 7th. So you can alter times as needed with those time delta objects. That's it for time delta and for this lesson. Thank you guys for logging on. And if you guys have a little bit of time, you can check out the datetime resource page with the documentation, and I think it's pretty good. So I guess I will see you all in the class.